Alright, everybody, it's Thursday, February 27th, and the topic is bullying. I've had a hell of a day, and I think eventually I'll just do a whole video on probation, but I guess since we're talking about bullying, I felt kind of bullied today when I was at my probation meeting. It was my probation officer and her boss. They both know about my situation, and I'm kind of, well, not kind of, but I made the decision to just do the jail time. Now, there's a process with that, basically, they put in for the revocation, court dates, blah, 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 and then sentencing. In the meeting, I was telling them about my panic disorder and my bipolar 2 disorder, and that I'm just now being put on different medication to treat that. And I tried to tell them that, at the time that they wanted me to do all these classes and this treatment and everything, the reason that I couldn't meet those requirements was because of these disabilities keeping me from going. I'd be all ready for it, ready to go, and then just snap of a finger, can't do it, didn't go. And when I tried to explain to them about the medications that we were experimenting with and the timing and not being able to go because of back-to-back panic attacks and not knowing at the time that I was bipolar, I didn't find out I was bipolar until just this week. So I was telling them all this stuff. I even showed them my new prescriptions, and my probation officer just read me what her report said, which was very ugly. It was just the facts, which was, yes, I've, drank and failed a few tests. It was just very straightforward. There was no explanation about medications or anything like that. So, they kept asking me, why couldn't you do this? Why can't you have a job? Why can't you do all this stuff? Number one, I have a job. It's an at-home job. Unfortunately, it's not verifiable because it's taking inbound phone calls. But I do have a job. If I were allowed more time to complete, to start and complete treatment after I get medication figured out, I would complete treatment. It's not that I don't want to go. And I kept telling them that. I said, it's not that I don't want to go, and they just kept saying, well, then go. Why don't you go? Money, and I'm all kinds of screwed up. So I was just staying as calm as I could. I eventually broke down and started crying because they were just hackling me about every little thing, like, you did this and you did this, and why didn't you do this when you could do this? And I'm just like, you don't understand what's going on up here, and on top of all that, yes, I am scared to go to jail, but it's the logical thing to do when you don't have money to pay for probation because it's like $2,000, so it's, being in my situation, going to jail, I would have to be put with females for my safety. So all that was going on, and they just kept going and going and going. They wouldn't let up at all. So I guess that's one example of my bullying experience. Now I'll take it back to middle school. I always failed gym because I never changed into my gym clothes. I participated in everything, and I was a loner. I had like a couple friends. I was very out of touch with my body and everything. My hygiene lacked a lot, so a lot of people didn't like me. I wasn't feminine. Even the guys didn't like me. And middle school is, puberty time pretty much, and nothing was happening. So when it came to gym, I would try to get it to be my first class, so I could be the first one there to change, or I would try to get it to be my last class, so I could wait for everybody to leave so I could change. Otherwise, I would dress in the bathroom. I was not comfortable undressing in front of a bunch of people, or a bunch of females, or anybody. at one point, well, several points, there were girls that would stay behind and actually follow me into the bathroom while I was in the stall changing and just asking me, why do you change in the bathroom? Are you really a boy? Ironically, they asked me that. Are you really a boy? And all this stuff. I did go to my counselor, and she made it worse because one day she came into the locker room and stood there while I changed, and everyone just kept talking about it for a very long time. It was a big thing. Um, they would look over the bathroom stall and everything. I was very quick, so they never. But it was just I was out of touch with myself. I didn't know. I didn't even like girls at that time, and come to find out, I found out a couple years ago. Everyone thought I was a lesbian in middle school, and I hadn't started liking girls until my sophomore year in high school. Um, that's kind of funny. But yeah, the bullying, and it was in middle school mostly, because I didn't really go to high school. Um, so that was pretty bad. There was one incident in high school where this guy that I had dated, he was behind me saying some stuff, just talking bad about me, and I threw my stuff down. I turned around, and next thing you know, there's like a big circle of people around us, and he's talking, and I'm yelling, and he's saying stuff like, "Why would I ever have dated you? You look like a dude," and all that. And I'm like, I don't know. It was crazy because all of that, I hadn't even considered, changing genders because I didn't know much about it. I wasn't active in the community. I didn't, do research or anything like that. I wasn't in any clubs until I transferred high schools. And all the bullying stopped. And back then, it wasn't bullying as like, I don't know how to really explain it. It was dealt with pretty much just between your counselors and your teachers, and it wasn't in the media, that type of stuff. So it just kind of stayed there. And now it's all in my head, and I try not to think about it, but you got to get it out sometime. It's really the extent of the bullying part. Harassment is a different story. I'll just kind of touch base on that. After I cut my hair and everything, I started getting harassing phone calls from people I knew in the past, people I partied with, that found out, whatever. Just whoever. They would call private, and I would answer. Usually I would laugh at it. Sometimes it really got to me when it was a guy saying that, well, you can imagine what those guys would say. And that's really the extent of the harassment. There was never physical bullying or physical harassment. It was just verbal, but those words really hurt you. And my advice, I'll wrap this up. My advice is that if that stuff happens to you in school, phone calls, internet, don't do what I did and just walk away with your head down. Do something about it. Show them you're strong, and show them who you are. And if you need to, get teachers, whoever involved. If it'll make it worse, think about it a little bit more. If you can take it into your own hands without getting physical, do that. And if it's really, really physical, like threats and everything, like they're going to hurt you, save those messages, do whatever you can for proof, and then call the cops. Those are really all the things that you can do that I never did. I don't know, kids can be cruel. People can be cruel. I'm sorry for the light. And I guess that's it for this week. It's pretty straightforward, and that's all you can really do. So, take care.